Hey everybody, today we're going to do some frame modifications. So I got the axle plumb-bobbed. Just a quick rundown of what a plumb-bob is. So I need to use it in order to make sure my axle is centered side to side but also front to back. So I got it pretty close. Mainly I just wanted it close today so I know how to build this frame to make sure it's in the right spot. So my thought is to bring the frame up from right there, bring it up, back down into here. So I think I'm going to take this frame out, build an all new frame section in the front, and Gearbox is going to set up right in here, and then I'm going to notch the bumper out just a little bit, let that pop up right out of there. And I think I'm trying to get my pitman arm right back in here, keep it somewhere close to where the tie rod is. Alright, so I got the front bumper moved out. I took the front of the frame off that. I also took the inner fender out to give me extra room, just so I'm not fighting that while I'm trying to get that frame set up. Once I get the frame all done, I can always put another inner fender in there. So the issue I'm running into with trying to keep the stock gearbox, there's just no room. So my thought is I'm going to put the gearbox forward, which means I have to bring my bumper out forward a little bit more, probably about 1.5 inches further forward than what it was from stock. So not a whole lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this light off, I'm going to cut out the bumper so it'll actually fit into the bumper. So it should work out pretty good. Now the other issue I'm running into is the output shaft for the gearbox. This right here is going to be aimed at, the way it is right now is going to be aimed right where that truss is at. Now keep in mind I got this at 5 inches up travel right now, but I want to make sure there's plenty of clearance for everything. So what I'm going to do is, I hate to do this, I'm going to cut the body. I've already got it drawn up here. This first line is where this is the section where the frame's going to be underneath. That's about 2.5 inches, and then the gearbox will be mounted right in here. So what my thought is I'm going to take a hole saw and I'm just going to cut a half circle. It's going to be just like that. And what that's going to allow me to do is take this part of the gearbox and fit it up in there about up to here. And that's going to bring, this is 1.5 inches center. So what that's going to do is allow my gearbox, the output shaft, to, instead of being right here, it's going to be up in here. Give me plenty of room. So let's go ahead, we're going to cut that out. Now one thing to keep in mind when you're using a hole saw, what I always like to do, and it's nice to build right on too, is to put some tape down on the part that you're going to cut. So I put some tape down, I was able to draw and do all my measuring and stuff like that, but it also help your paint from hopefully chipping off on the edges if you keep that tape on there. So let's give it a try. Alright, so one thing I didn't take account for was the winch itself. So the steering box, it it comes out like this, and then it cuts over about 1 inch and then goes back. Well, I'm about 1/2 inch too short, 3/4 inch too short. So what I'm gonna have to do is actually move the box over this way just a little bit. In order to do that, all I'll do is I'll cut the frame down about 3/4 inch, which shouldn't be a problem. I'll have to weld these bolt holes shut and then just move them over a little bit. And then the issue now is I drilled this hole. So what I'm gonna have to do now, since I can't use a hole saw now, is I'll take a jigsaw and I'll just bring it up just like that and then run into that. So I hate it because now this is gonna be a little bigger than what I wanted, but it should work out. Alright, so I have my box set up pretty close to where it's going to be. So the plan is to, I need to set up some mounts. So one mount's going to be above the frame and the other two are going to be below the frame. So what I'm going to do to strengthen this is I'm going to cut a piece of 3/16, take it up and over. I'm going to try to bend it with a torch. And then what I'll do is I'll bring it down, I'll weld it to the bumper, I'll put a piece in the front, I'll weld that up, so that'll strengthen the bumper. And then I'm going to bring some 1/4 inch up and down, some plating, and then I'll tie that into this piece I put up here, so that should make that pretty strong. And then the two, there's one there and there's one behind here, those will actually bolt into the frame. So I was going to use the torch to bend this, and I got the idea of using this pipe bender. So what I did is I put the rollers in as close as they would, and I got the smallest, I think it's 1/2 inch die that I had. So I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but I think it should. If I can get a decent bend on it to where it's enough, then I can just use a clamp or something to get it smaller. Alright, so I got this tacked into place, and then I went ahead and put a piece in the front here, and then I'll fill all this, I'll weld all the way around there, and then fill all that in and around there. It turned out pretty good. So the next thing I want to do, I went ahead and cut some pieces out of cardboard, kind of like that. I'm going to put one there, and then one here, and then I'll put a piece of flat in here and bring it down. I'm going to do that out of 1/4 inch, but with these angles, they should hopefully make that pretty strong. And then I'll also weld that piece to this to make it even stronger. Alright, so I went ahead and tacked those on. Now I'm not going to fully weld everything until everything's in place. That way none of this stuff moves around. So all I'm going to do now is take and put a piece of metal going straight down, and then I'm going to angle it down, and that'll give it enough strength. Okay, so I went ahead and drilled the hole, and the reason I did this is just in case I got the hole wrong, I could easily cut these little tacks and put a new piece in. And also that way when I'm welding I can kind of see where that hole is at so I don't get any weld in there. And if I do get weld in there, you can always ream it from the other side and it'll clean out pretty easy. So these are the bolts that were on it. Now I could just go buy new bolts, but what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut these down and put some new threads on them. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so I didn't have the right tap to tap this bolt all the way up. So what I'm going to do now, another option for right now, so I don't have to run and get any bolts, is I went ahead and cut this to the length I need. And I found a nut that this bolt will actually fit in. So what I'm going to do is put that inside there, just like so, and then we'll weld it up, and that'll work for now.